finally getting another update up for you guys. I'm trying to catch up, so this is why these are all compiled. I probably should have done like a first trimester and like a mid-second trimester, but I didn't think of that until literally right now. Mind the hair, it's still wet. I just got out of the shower. I have class and I'm trying to get adjusted. I have to like sit on stuff because A, I lost my battery charger. I did find it. B, I have no idea where my tripod went. So right now I'm like on a makeshift tripod and it's like angled, kind of weird, but whatever. I just went off on a tangent and I don't remember what I was saying. So as you can tell from the title, this video is going to be 15 through 20 weeks pregnancy update. I am currently 23 weeks and 2 days? No. 23 weeks and 1 day. So yeah. I'm almost done catching up. So excited. And then I can do weekly bump dates. I'm excited because I've been wanting to do that since day one, and I don't know, I think I said it in the last video, but this pregnancy has flown by. Like, I've been enjoying it, but I think it's just because running around with 2 kids, school, work, it's just, time is flying. Anyway, let's get on with the video. 15 weeks. I had my, actually I think it was my 14 week. I had a 14-week appointment, but we'll go with, it was like borderline 15 week appointment. It was actually on my birthday that I had gone, and she let me have an ultrasound for my birthday, and it looked like just a itty bitty little alien creature. But I was excited to get one because I wasn't expecting one after my sequential screening that they did until like my 20-week scan. But this was at 14 weeks. It's a little alien head and its little creepy body. But it's so cute. I love it. Obviously I love it, it's my kid. So I went there. What was the heart rate? I don't even think she told me the heart rate. She's been really a pain in my butt and not telling me the heart rate. It did start off in the beginning of the trimester in the 170s. So I think she said it was like in the 140s at that appointment. So I had dropped, but she said baby was like super active, wouldn't stop moving. She kept hearing it kick, or we kept watching it like dancing and kick and everything during the ultrasound. So, and usually I go by heart rates, guys, like figure out the gender. And this one just doesn't want me to know what it is. It literally doesn't. I'll get into that more later on in the video, but other than that ultrasound, I was complaining of like an itchy, extremely itchy tummy. Like it was getting to be a rash. I was scratching so much, and I was worried of, oh my gosh, there's 2 things. I think one was like the pups rash, but she said it's not that, and the other one, so I keep getting text messages and stuff, and the other one, it starts with a C, I think, and normally women don't develop that until the 3rd trimester, and I was really worried about that, but she said it wasn't that. It was just my belly expanding, and to keep drinking water, stay hydrated, so everything like can stretch out and do its thing. So I didn't have to worry about any of that. And then the next day, it probably was itching and stuff because it like, my belly popped all of a sudden. Like I looked like I should have been like 20 something weeks pregnant only at 15 weeks. But this thing, can't see it now, but it's getting freaking huge, you guys. And currently I'm only 23 weeks. But anyway, so back to the 15 weeks. It's so hard not jumping around. I did experience my first cold while pregnant, which is really weird because I remember with my other 2 kids, I had colds almost all the time with them, and right before I found out I was pregnant with both of them, I had a cold, and like the next day literally I had a pregnancy, or a positive pregnancy test. But this one I didn't have a cold. It came 15 weeks and when you have a cold when you're pregnant, it is the worst thing. Like, you are pretty much feeling like a man when they have their little man cold. But of course, you can't take it like a man cold because you're the mom and you're the wife and you have to do all the cooking and the cleaning and taking care of the kids, because the men love you dearly, husby. Love you dearly, hubby, but your man colds, I can't handle it. So that's kind of what I felt like during that cold. I did have pelvis pain. Now, I had this with my daughter, but towards the end, like in the 3rd trimester, where your pelvis literally feels like it's tearing apart, like stretching, expanding, whatever. But like, it was just so painful. Every step that I took, sitting down hurt. It literally felt like it was going to break apart. I called my, well no, because it was at the appointment where I talked to her about it. She said everything is normal, everything's fine. You pretty much feel all your pregnancy symptoms more intense with the more kids that you have. So clearly baby number 3, I'm gonna be feeling a lot more pain and I'm gonna feel a lot more stuff earlier. So keep that in mind for those of you who are on baby number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever, how many kids you want. And the round ligament pain I had, which was pretty painful. I was very tired. My insomnia was really bad. I'd go to sleep late. I'd only sleep for like maybe an hour or 2, wake up, stay up for about 3 hours, go to sleep for an hour. And it was just like an ongoing cycle, and it really affected me. I struggled with like work, especially when I had to work day shift. By like noon, I was trying so hard not to pass out, and I work 12-hour shifts. I get there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So noon is not even halfway through my shift, and I was struggling. And of course, you can't have energy drinks, which I know. I love energy drinks, but I haven't had any, obviously, since being pregnant, I can't speak. So I did have coffee. I have to have some kind of caffeine, you guys. 12-hour shifts are hard on the pregnant woman, let me tell you. My headaches were still there. Heartburn was intense, especially at night. Oh, and when I was able to sleep, I had weird dreams that involved people that I went to like elementary school with that I haven't talked to in probably years, but I had dreams about them. It was really weird. Like, who dreams about people that they went to elementary school with? Like, let's be real, especially if you haven't talked to them in like 20 years. It's pretty crazy. So anyway, I still had that I still had that hip pain that I was talking about in my previous video. Again, I don't know if it was because of the way that I was sleeping, or maybe round ligament pain down in your hip. I have no idea, but it was painful. Anyway, on to 16 weeks. Woohoo, we're getting so close, you guys. 16 weeks, again, round ligament pain, especially a lot like in the pelvis area. Again, with the like stretching, and felt like it was tearing. Slight headaches. My migraines were kind of like dying off around this week, but they were still kind of there. I wouldn't necessarily categorize them as migraines. They were definitely more headaches. Still would not do Tylenol. I don't know why this pregnancy. I just don't want any medication or nothing. It's bad enough that I'm gonna have to do an epidural for my C-section, but whatever. Which I'm not against. Trust me, I love the epidural, but I don't know. Just being weird this pregnancy. My stomach was still super itchy, exhausted all the time, no matter how much sleep I got. Pretty much barely got any sleep, but there were some nights where I got a decent amount of sleep, but the next day I was just still so sorry. I'm playing with my hair, but it's really hot in here and we don't have the AC on. No matter how much sleep I got, I was still tired. Oh, and a really weird symptom that started at week 16, my eyes were really sensitive. Like when I took a shower, my eyes became extremely painful. Like I had to cover them when washing my face, and anywhere like, excuse me, near the heat and near the light, like the sun beating on your face. Hiccuping. Every single video I do, I hiccup. I don't even know how to explain the pain that I had in my eyes, but it hurt really bad. Like it came to the point where I had to shower like this and not let the water touch my face, and I had to wear sunglasses Obviously in the sun you do wear sunglasses, but it was painful. And unfortunately, I called my midwife and she said it's normal, it's just another weird pregnancy symptom. And there was days, I think, like sometimes in the shower, where I would cry because it was just so incredibly painful. That was about it for week 16. So moving on to week 17. Sorry, I keep looking down because all my notes are on my phone right here next to me. So moving on to week 17, again with the excruciating round ligament pain, tossing and turning at night, the insomnia. Oh, this is the week. Okay, so none of my symptoms really changed from week 16 to 17. But for this week, week 17, my husband and I went on a mommy daddy date for like a late birthday present for me. We went to Atlantic City. So if you are familiar with New Jersey, we drove down to Atlantic City. We stayed at one of the casinos. We had a really nice dinner. And there was this guy, I didn't see him. Like when I was walking in, I didn't see him. I didn't think that, like, from how we walked into the restaurant, like nobody really saw me. So we were just sitting there talking about like baby names, and were we even talking about baby names at that time? We were just talking about everything, like the house, the kids, everything. We were talking about eating our food, and some guy kind of like hovers over me and he says it's a boy and just walks away and continues walking to wherever he's walking. And my husband and I looked at each other like, what the heck just happened? Some creepy guy, literally, his head was like right here hovering over my shoulder, said it's a boy, and walked away. And I'm pretty sure, I think I had this black shirt on, and with black it's really slimming, so I didn't think you can see that I'm pregnant while sitting down. I could just be like large, like not necessarily pregnant. But it was really, really creepy. So like we're still in shock, eating our food, saying to each other, what the heck just happened? Like, was that real? Like, it was really weird. So like we're looking for this guy. He never came back. 20 minutes later he comes back walking in, like walking towards me. And he's like, so am I right? And I was like, we don't know. We didn't go to like our scan yet. It was only 17 weeks. And he's like, well, I know it's a boy, so. And then he was like, you should name it. He said a name in French. He said it in French. But I was like, is that, okay, so he said, if any of you are French out there, he said Alexander in like the French form. And I was like, is that Alexander, like in French? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, that is really creepy. My husband and I looked at each other because that is one of our top names, Alexander, if it's a boy. And it was just creepy, like how he just says it's a boy and then he starts saying you should name it Alexander. And his name wasn't Alex or Alexander. It was, oh, it started with an F, I think. I can't remember his name. I don't remember his name, but it wasn't that. It was definitely like a French name, and it was, I'm pretty sure it was F. But it was just so weird how he pretty much knew like what our choice name was, like one of our top 5. So we just found that really, really creepy. And since then, my husband's like dead set that it's a boy. I have no idea what it is. So yeah, it was just bizarre and creepy all at the same time, but pretty cool. I mean, how many people like randomly come up to you and be like, it's a girl, or you're having a boy? Like, you know, it's just weird. So that was my 17-week experience, and we can't stop talking about that day. Like, it just comes up in casual conversation, like, hey, remember when we went to eat at whatever, I forget, Homestead or Old Homestead or whatever, and that guy came up to us, and it was really bizarre. Oh, and then he started, obviously he was French, and he started talking about like, I think he was from Canada actually, but like it's weird that he's French and my mother-in-law teaches French. I don't know, it was just really bizarre. Maybe we're thinking like way into this, but it was just bizarre. Anyway, let's keep moving on. So week 18, let me settle down because my voice, I'm so out of breath. So week 18. The pelvis pain continued. Called the doctor. They said it could possibly be, it's definitely round ligament pain, but it can also be scar tissue from my previous C-sections. But it felt a little lower than that, but I guess it kind of does make sense now I'm thinking about it, because they're like digging around in there. So it could have been from that. Other than that, week 18, it was just the pelvis pain, and I really didn't experience much for that week. Week 19, my hunger became more prominent. Is that the word I'm looking for? Don't judge me if I'm using that word wrong. But towards the end of the week, like, I was just so hungry. Like, couldn't fill me up. Like, everything I ate, I just wanted more of it. I ate so much. This is probably where I started gaining some weight. I didn't gain too much, but this is probably when I started to gain the weight. I had more energy during weeks 19, which is really nice because I was so tired of being tired all the time. I was able to play with my kids more. We start going out more, and it's just been nice having the energy back. I've been having more bizarre and surreal dreams during the week 19. And during this week, I started feeling crazy amounts of movement. Like, I think it was like, I'd feel like little thumps here and there, like it was punching me and stuff, but more of like the fluttering movements, which I got excited because now it's more consistent and I don't have to use the Doppler as much to check on the heartbeat. I can just feel it moving. It pretty much has a schedule now, but it was pretty much it for week 19. Oh, and it started to look like, everybody says that I'm carrying super high, but I feel a lot of movement down near my pelvis. So I don't know if it's like after I eat, because your stomach is higher up, that it expands up higher. That's why it looks like I'm carrying. I have no idea, but I don't know how that works. I really don't, but I guess people tell me that I look like I'm carrying high, but there's other times where I look like I'm carrying really low. So baby just doesn't want anybody to know what it is. It's driving me crazy. So that was pretty much it for week 19. For weeks 20, I had the anatomy scan. It was like about 45 minutes to an hour long. Everything measured great. The baby was measuring, I noticed, right on track. I noticed the legs were measuring a week ahead. So I asked her about it, but she just said your baby's probably gonna have really long legs, which makes sense because my husband and his one side of the family is super tall. So maybe baby is just going to have their height. But this is the 20-week scan. Oh, I said that weird. 20-week scan of the cute little babe. We did not find out the gender. Hello. We did not find out the gender. It was super difficult going to that anatomy scan where we knew that usually we find out what our kids' genders are. But this time we held strong. We didn't find out. The heart rate was 131 and baby was bouncing like crazy, like wouldn't stop moving. I think the ultrasound took a little bit longer because she couldn't get accurate measurements of, I think it's like belly, because it was just bouncing around so much, but she ended up getting it. So that heart rate was 131 and it was 14 no, it wasn't 16 ounces yet. It was 14 ounces and measuring in the 43rd percentile. So I'm really thinking that if this baby is any less than 9 pounds at birth, I'll be surprised. Like, I really think I'm gonna have a 9-pound baby, which makes me really happy that I'm not delivering vaginally, because I don't think I can barely birth out my 7-pound baby. How could I do a 9-pound baby? Anyway, so yeah, that's what my guess is going to be. It's going to be around 9 pounds and tall. So we'll see. My doctor wants me to see a cardiologist, but I don't think I'm going to go because I kept feeling like my heart race every once in a while and like heart palpitations. I'm like so out of breath right now from talking. So she wanted me to see a cardiologist. She did say it's really common in pregnancy for like all that to happen, but she just wanted me to get a I think she said an EKG or an EEG, one of those two, just to make sure. But I haven't gone because it kind of stopped, which actually that was another symptom for week 19 that I forgot to add. But I'm not going because it hasn't happened anymore. Like, it was weird. I'd be just laying down, not doing anything but watching TV, and I feel like my heart racing. Like, usually, like right now it's racing because I'm talking so much, but I wasn't doing anything. I was just watching TV, and I'd feel it like race, and I almost felt like it skip a beat. So yeah, that was about it for 20 weeks. So that's about it. And like, oh, and Braxton Hicks started at 20 weeks. And again, I don't remember Braxton Hicks starting that early with my other two. Now I know every pregnancy is different, but I just felt like everything is coming on earlier and harder for me. Like, the Braxton Hicks kind of are painful. It just feels like your stomach tightening up. No like cramping or anything, but it's just really uncomfortable. And again, she said everything's normal. You're gonna feel everything because this is your third baby. So with all that said and done,